And I can assure you that every recommendation that will come out of this gathering would definitely be implemented to ensure that we shore up tax revenue in Ghana.
Oh. Metal.
Just a minute. Let me. Yes. Sorry.
Hey.
Please, can you guys
Yeah, bra.
How are you all? Kaifahan? You don't speak Arabic. You brought yourself. Yeah, I'm back. So I all students here.
No, we are bloggers.
Oh, okay. Wow, they are doing great. Keep it up. Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you.
It's okay. Hey, bloggers, what are you? Please, let's go this way. Welcome. Great to have you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. How long the clap lasts tells me how much you enjoyed it. So thank you so much for it. Oh, okay. Yes, you can do it forward. All right. So let me quickly also acknowledge the presence of Dr. Paul Wachidankwa. I think he's left us. We also have students from WAS, Presec, Kwabenya, Preset, I think it's Preset Paysetters Academy, Fafraha, UPSA students, and all UPSA staff. You are duly acknowleded. A round of applause for yourselves. We also have Sheikh Rashid Odoi Atu, La Chief Imam, representing the Chief Imam. Please have applause. And please do this for us in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure I'll do less than 5 minutes. As you are all aware, yesterday's rains caused havoc in my constituency, so we are still on a tour, just inspecting people who have struggled through the night and trying to provide them with some support. So I would beg that I'll do this under 5 minutes. And also to beg Nanache and all the invited guests that after my brief remark, I'll ask permission so I can be on the field with those who are struggling. Nanache, I would beg again to rely on all the protocols that have already been established and to say that I'm really excited that you are within this great institution situated here in the Medina constituency, hosting this national dialogue. It is a very, very significant dialogue because recently I had the opportunity to be nominated to serve on the GRA board. And for that reason, a conversation like this and the recommendations that would come out of this conversation will be so key to those of us serving on that board as we provide some guidance and direction and monitoring and supervision for the work at the GRA. So I just want to wish all of you well. I have seen my tax lecturer here, Professor Ali Nachia, and then also seen my mentor and lecturer. I know he will not forgive me that I'm forgetting their names. Yeah, Prof. Jan. It's because of their leadership. That is why we are where we are today. There was no way we could make it without their guidance. Please let's give it to them. Anytime we see them, it's our duty to really acknowledge what they've done with our lives as they watch us go through the law. And so you are most welcome. Enjoy your stay. And I can assure you that every recommendation that will come out of this gathering would definitely be implemented to ensure that we shore up tax revenue in Ghana. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Javier Sosu, and thank you for doing it under 5 minutes. Another round of applause for him. Now, this is refreshing because for the first time this afternoon, we are going to hear from a woman. I thought you would clap for that. Yes. The men have been pouring into us, and it's time for us to hear from a woman. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome on stage the Deputy Commissioner of Ghana Revenue Authority, Elsie Apau Esquire. This is your time, sir, to give us your address. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. In addition to being your master of ceremony, I'll also be your accurate timekeeper, sir. So if you see me walking to you with a piece of paper, you have a minute to wrap up. Thank you.
Thank you. I saw my professor walk in. Welcome. Thank you for the opportunity to to address this crucial national dialogue on tackling tax revenue leakage. I would like to extend my gratitude to the Vice Chancellor of UPSA, Prof. John, and the organizers of this event for bringing together the finest brains in our country from academia, government, and industry. Let me especially acknowledge the Chairman of the National Dialogue on Taxation, His Royal Majesty King Dr. Taki Teku Chu II. My father, former President of the Republic, His Excellency John Adekun. My colleague here, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Medina, Honorable Francis Xavier Odu Sosu. Nananu, distinguished invited guests, lecturers, and of course, my senior brother is hiding there, Ali, and all the other experts that have been invited to participate in this great dialogue. I thank you all for your commitment to our country and for the various roles you have played to ensure that our country is transformed for the benefit of our people. Let me begin with the fundamental truth. The path to Ghana's economic independence runs directly through effective tax administration. Our failure to achieve optimal levels of tax revenues has meant that we have compromised our determination to put our country on the path of sustainable economic growth and development. A simple review of our tax institutional environment will reveal high expectations of the greater revenues we should be generating. For example, our country has seen too many tax reforms. We've implemented too many tax handles. Our tax authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has deployed the highest number of software products in Ghana for tax purposes. The last count, 20 software products. And GRA, as we know, is one of the biggest state institutions by employment. Notwithstanding all this, our tax system exhibits evidence of low tax elasticity. This means that tax revenue generated has not been as significantly sensitive to changes in economic activity or tax reforms, because we expected to get more following all these interventions that we have made as a country. We are therefore not near our median potential in tax revenue, and this is demonstrated by available data. Ghana's tax to GDP ratio stands around 14%, specifically at around 13.8%. And tax to non-oil GDP stands at 17%. When I was exiting as finance minister, I thought we had taken it to about 17% in tax to GDP ratio. But once the GDP data was revised, it brought us back to around 14%, which means that there's potential and we can do better given the size of GDP that we have today. Ladies and gentlemen, while this represents some improvement, it still falls below the sub-Saharan African average of 16% and far below the OECD average of 34%. A VAT gap analysis conducted by GRA in 2022 also found an estimated gap of 61%, meaning that the actual VAT revenue collected in Ghana is only 39% of its potential. Similarly, for corporate income tax, the gap is estimated at a staggering 81.5% on a representative sample used in 2013. These figures demonstrate that our challenges as a country are not a shortage of tax instruments or tax reforms, but rather their effective administration and implementation. effects of not realizing our tax potential are staggering. They represent the much needed schools that are not built, the hospitals that are not equipped, and the roads that are not paved. In fact, our development financing needs continue to grow as the infrastructure deficit remains very high at $15 billion United States dollars for the next 10 years. This gives you an average of $1.5 billion a year. Unstable power supply, which has resulted in efficiency costs of $1.1 billion to the economy, and a housing deficit of 2 million units, just to mention a few. While we struggle with domestic resource mobilization, the global landscape of development financing is also fast transforming before our very eyes. For example, the OECD reports that international aid fell by 7.1% in real terms in 2024 compared with 2023. And this was driven by reduced contributions to international organizations and decreased humanitarian aid. About one-half of external inflows in 2024 to sub-Saharan Africa came from official development assistance, of which nearly one quarter came from the United States of America, and same from Europe. The future of ODA flows is uncertain, as the US is reviewing its entire foreign assistance program. Several large EU donors have also indicated plans to reduce official assistance as they try to create fiscal room to increase security and defense spending, following the new strategy of the US to withdraw security guarantees. USAID provides Ghana approximately $150 million annually, supporting critical sectors in health, economic growth, agriculture, education, and governance. Yet, this support faces elimination under recent executive orders by the Trump administration. The United Kingdom, which has contributed approximately £2.8 billion in bilateral aid to Ghana over the past 2 decades, is also reprioritizing its overseas aid, shifting resources to poorer and more fragile countries. This has already resulted in significant reductions in bilateral aid programming in social sectors, with education and health seeing the most significant cuts. Moreover, ladies and gentlemen, we operate within an environment where approximately $88.6 billion leave the African continent through illicit financial flows. Altogether, the developed world is becoming increasingly protective. As the global north turns inwards, we, the global south, particularly in Ghana, must turn towards prioritizing domestic efforts and mobilizing resources and prudently managing these resources for the betterment of our people. Our revenue sources, tax and non-tax revenue, bilateral loans, and borrowing from domestic and international capital markets remain woefully inadequate to finance our growth and development. Particularly, as we exit the cloud of debt distressed countries, through our successful debt restructuring, which resulted in almost $11 billion of savings through debt relief, our constraints in international credit markets will continue to restrain international debt financing as a sustainable source of development financing. The sad reality is that our current profile and size of domestic tax revenue alone cannot even finance our recurring expenditure. Against this compelling reality, ladies and gentlemen, we must do more to raise more domestic revenue to support our development aspirations. We can do this by challenging our conventional wisdom and preconceptions about taxes generally. We play too much with taxes, and this is the bane of our progression as a country. Ladies and gentlemen, this reality must therefore be embraced by all Ghanaians. Fact is, in a democracy such as ours, taxation promotes accountability. It is therefore everybody's business. While we are therefore confronted with tax revenue leakages, must be a blot on our national conscience, as many of these leakages are perpetrated by some of our citizens in collaboration with foreign partners. When discussing ways to increase tax revenue, I believe three pathways emerge: increasing the rates of existing taxes, introducing new taxes, and enforcing tax compliance. Given our current circumstances, the evidence overwhelmingly suggests that compliance, which includes the broadening of the tax base, is our most promising avenue. For example, think of our tax system as a water pipe with numerous leakages. Adding more water pressure simply forces more water through the existing leaks. The logical solution, therefore, is to fix the leaks first, ensuring that what flows in also reaches its intended destination. As a result of the leaks in our tax system, tax administration must sit at the center of our tax efforts. With a more efficient and effective tax administration system that ensures compliance, transparency, and accountability, we have the potential to achieve a tax to GDP ratio beyond the sub-Saharan African average of 16% and move toward the OECD average in the long term. Several key reforms were introduced between 2017 and 2024 to overcome the challenges hindering our tax revenue mobilization potential. Key among these are the revenue assurance, compliance, and enforcement initiative, RACE, and the integrated customs management system, ICOMS. However, the most far-reaching benefits of RACE and ICOMS are the extent of leakages revealed in our tax system. Some of the findings include the following. The free zones audit, which we conducted, showed that the non-enforcement of the letter of commitment did a major blow to our country. This was therefore introduced, taking effect from February 2024. A customs infrastructure audit, which we also conducted, revealed major scanner inefficiencies and lack of integration with ICOMS at key bodies, including Aflao, Enugu, and Kabrani. We engaged 12 mining and oil companies for post-clearance audit, which uncovered potential mismatches between declarations and actual exports. We engaged top 40 exporters, and we identified many unpaid taxes by them. We managed to recover some of them. And so to address some of these challenges, we further streamlined custom processes as well as data management and enabled cross-border risk profiling. We recently, ladies and gentlemen, also implemented some other measures initiated at the Ministry of Finance to address tax revenue leakages. And number one, that is at the core of our strategy, is the medium-term revenue strategy, 2024 to 2027, which provides a clear path on legislative, policy, and administrative reforms needed to increase revenue and plug the leakages. The MTRS, as we call it, is effectively a roadmap for the transformation of the tax architecture. We also launched a comprehensive digitalization drive to streamline tax administration and reduce the heavy dependence on human interventions that create opportunities for leakage. This is what we call faceless tax system. When we remove the human element from routine tax processes, we minimize corruption and maximize compliance. The personal identification numbers of all Ghanaian citizens who have registered for the Ghana card, now integrated with the tax system, has also made it easier, far easier indeed, for tax authorities to identify all eligible taxpayers. We invested in building the capacity of GRA offices to effectively engage with multinational companies. These companies employ sophisticated tax consultants to minimize their tax liabilities. We designed a strategic communication plan that prioritizes sustained civic education across the country to build tax compliant citizens. A cornerstone of our reform measures was also the rollout of the electronic VAT, the EVAT scheme, which enables the government to gather real-time data on taxpayers, particularly institutional ones, for the first time in the history of GRA. Even though, ladies and gentlemen, these reforms are expected to have far-reaching impact, there are still major challenges to be addressed particularly in tax administration, tax scoping and design, as well as recommendation going forward. Number one, high-income sectors like the extractive industries offer boundless opportunities to mobilize tax revenue. It was Ato and his colleagues in 2006 who said, and I quote, "In matters of mining taxation, governments rarely believe that companies pay too much tax. Companies rarely believe that they pay too little tax. And citizens rarely believe that they actually see tangible benefits from the taxes that are paid." Unquote. And so this tells you mining taxation is a complex arena, and we therefore need to find ways to tackle these problems associated with the mining sector. But what is clear to me, ladies and gentlemen, is that the current approach to taxing this sector in Africa, including Ghana, creates uncertainty, which would dampen investment in the sector overall. I do not believe that we should tax windfalls from mining companies by using tax handles outside the mineral agreements, such as what we experienced with the increase in the growth and sustainability levy on mining companies. I propose instead a comprehensive fiscal regime with windfall tax features, such as resource rent taxes, to be the basis for legislative review and renegotiation of mineral agreements. This way, mining companies will incorporate these fiscal elements into their project assumption, thereby minimizing risk to investment. Number two, illicit financial outflows continue to be a major drain on our revenue potential. Yet, national legislation is inadequate to address this angle. Aside from strengthening legislation, we must critically examine issues such as debt loading, cost inflation, and cost recovery techniques which are used to understate tax revenues. Some of these practices have already emerged in a recent tariffs imposed by the United States of America. Tariffs on imports from Ghana reduces the competitiveness of made-in-Ghana products on U.S. markets. But reducing the profitability of Ghanaian exporters also means reducing tax revenue for our country. Some countries like China and Canada have also imposed reciprocal tariffs on the United States of America. And there are suggestions that Africa must also follow. Can we do that, Africa? From a tax revenue perspective, I do not encourage Ghana to retaliate for a number of reasons. Our total export to the US is about 2% of GDP, with the non-exempt exports under the new US tariffs standing at 0.4%. The effect is therefore very limited, particularly on our international trade position, which has largely supported our recent recovery. Also, a reciprocal tariff on imports from the US will increase the cost of US exports to Ghana. Given the obsession in Ghana for imported products, this will reduce the disposable income of Ghanaians, thus leading to lower consumption and lower consumer tax revenues. This is my reasons why I do not encourage Ghana to retaliate. In conclusion, I see you are coming. I want to emphasize that when we can finance our own development, we dictate our own terms and set our own priorities. Conversely, when we cannot finance our development, we surrender our national wealth and decision-making authority to those who can. That is why the vision we must aim for is a Ghana that is truly self-reliant and self-sufficient. Ladies and gentlemen, we must work together to either strengthen tax compliance today or continue sacrificing our resources and sovereignty tomorrow. Viewed within this lens, the recommendations from today's dialogue must translate into concrete actions that transform our tax administration system. Your Majesty Chairman, distinguished guests, I hope that this national dialogue will set the scene for concrete decisions and be remembered for the transformative actions that will follow from this platform. I have no doubt we will achieve this because I know very well the panel assembled to do justice to this subject. On this note, let me thank you all once again. May God bless all of us, and may God bless our country, Ghana.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, former Minister of Finance for the Republic of Ghana. Doc, we have to take some tax from you because you took so much of our time. Do you agree? All right, so let's take a brief remark now from the Member of Parliament for Madina.